What is up, guys? Welcome to this new style video. It's more like a vlog. Right now it is around 50 degrees. We're gonna head out to a place called Garner Canyon and go winter camping. It's gonna drop down to 30 some. I know it's not really cold for some places, but for here we're not used to it, so we'll let you guys know how it goes. This is my hot wife with her hot cup of coffee. So a little kitchen setup. Excuse the mess. We are camping, so everything's kind of out. Two little pantries where I store all my stuff. But this is how the kitchen looks when we're camping. And this right here is a cooking station. This is a little table that I modified for this griddle. This is my little griddle that I use to cook basically mostly every time I come camping. And it stores away under the bed. I'll zoom back out. So this is how it looks right now. With our awning out and everything's there. And this is the camp right now with all the family. We open up the door. There's our mess in there, but this is how we sleep. And then this is the little heater I've been using to keep warm. The white one is off my generator. The other one is a 12-volt semi-truck heater that I had. And it works pretty good for in here because it's such a small space. Here's my privacy shelter where we do our business. Here's the little generator running off, powering this thing right here. This is my little junk drawer right here. Excuse the mess, it's all over the place. And then this is the compartment where the heaters are at. And whenever we camp, we really don't store nothing in here. But yeah, it's gonna drop down to, they said like 31. It's pretty cold for Arizona. We're not used to this kind of weather, so last night it dropped down to around the same temperature. We stayed pretty nice and cozy in this camper, and it did great. So tonight should not be anything different. So far, so good. I've enjoyed this little trip. We just have to see this morning how it's gonna be. In the morning, it was all full of, everything was frosted over. Everything froze except for the water, so it didn't get that cold. But yeah, this is how we're camping right now. I'll check back in the morning. Alright guys, now that you saw my first little winter camping trip, I'm going to do the final walkthrough and the price estimate of what this build cost me. Just so you know, I've bought a lot of these parts a long time ago here and there. So I really don't know the exact price off the top of my head, but I will be giving a general estimate of it. And I will also be going through and listing a lot of mistakes that I made when I built this thing. Alright, let's get started. So first things first, this frame. It's a little bit oversized and overkill for this type of camper. I originally bought this at a surplus steel yard. The steel was bought there. I made the frame all by hand, so that was all me. The steel is all recycled steel. That's the first mistake I made because since it was recycled steel, it had a lot of imperfections, and some of these beams had bends and dings that I didn't really notice until the frame was put together. So that was one mistake I made. Back there, the frame where the first axle attachment point is, on both sides from there, the frame kind of goes out basically a little bit less than 1/4 of an inch on both sides, and that basically threw off my squaring for the back end. But I mean, it's been like that for, well, since I built it, and I've towed it a lot, and it hasn't seemed to be an issue. So that was my first mistake, is if I were to do this again, I were to buy brand new steel, and I would buy smaller stock steel because this steel is pretty thick. I'm guessing it's like 1/8 of an inch thick, and I think it is 2 by 5 inch square stock steel. So that is the frame there. That's probably the most weight that I have on this camper. And I think the metal for the frame cost me around $200 if I remember correctly. Alrighty, now we're gonna go to the kitchen. Alrighty, so this is the kitchen of the square drop. These right here are my pantries. There's 2 pantries here. This is all for dishes, etc. As you can tell, there are cups, stuff like that when we take when we go camping. And here is usually where I'll store all the food, chips, etc. All the stuff that we eat, basically. One thing I do want to upgrade here is basically I want to add some sort of shelf here because a lot of this space up here is wasted, and I don't like to waste a lot of space. And I also want to finish closing all this area off. That way it's just a sealed compartment, and because a lot of dust does get in here when we go on dusty roads, and that's kind of a pain to have to clean everything all over again. But the general construction, this is the aluminum, this is the front side of the actual body, this is steel, and here is, what is this thing called, insulation, and some plastic and some more plastic back there. That's basically how both of these compartments are built. Like I said up there too, I will need to seal this off, and I need to wire these lights properly because they were just kind of placed there for the last camping trip as a trial. But these are basically boat latches. They close up there. They seal like that. There is no real way of putting a lock here that I've figured out yet. So in the future, I do want to find some way of locking this. We haven't had any issues with people trying to get into this camper, so I might do it, I might not. So here is the stove and the refrigerator. One big mistake I made, if I were to do this again, when I first designed this in the first videos, you guys saw that I built this little box where the stove was gonna sit inside. If I were to do that again, I would have not gone that route. I would have just put some little attachment points on the 4 corners down here. That way I could have used a full piece of this aluminum to line the bottom of the camper, and it would have given me an extra inch on each side for a wider box. That way the stove could have sat down here and came out more, and the top would have been some sort of shelf or something. But here's a refrigerator that we use. It is a DC refrigerator. This runs off shore power. I have not put an inverter on this thing, but that is my plan eventually. It's either I'm gonna put an inverter and wire this to the inverter because it doesn't use that much electricity, or I'm going to scrap that refrigerator, build some sort of another pantry up here, and right here I'm gonna build a refrigerator pull-out box, and I'm gonna get a 12-volt fridge. I'm leaning more towards that, but that's gonna cost a lot more money than just running an inverter off batteries. So that is yet to come. All right, now I'm gonna open up the kitchen and show you it extended. All right, so this is the kitchen, how it looks extended. What I was talking about, that box, as you can see there, it's just taking up a lot of extra room that I don't really need. And the refrigerator isn't that heavy, so it could sit on a shelf that I built up here. It doesn't necessarily need to be supported down to the frame. But anyways, the first mistake I did make here was these drawer slides. I was trying to save some money, and I bought 2 pairs of these for a really good deal on eBay. But the only thing was that they were really short, so this drawer slide was getting a little bit hard to open, so I had to make up this little trigger mechanism on both sides to open it. My plans are to upgrade these to at least a 24-inch, because these are, I believe, 16 inches, and I still have a lot of room here to work with, so that is one of my plans. But here is the general construction. It's just 1x1 tube steel, and here's the stove. This stove, I bought this, sorry it's a little dirty, we just came back from a camping trip, but I bought this at a swap meet for 20 bucks. This is like a $500 stove that I got a good deal on. So I've just had this guy for about 2 years waiting for a bill to come up. So here's that. And then this is stainless steel that I had from the RV remodel that I did. I still had quite a lot of steel left, so I just used that up here. And this is all aluminum trim that I bought for this camper. Here's the second little box. Well, it's kind of more like a shelf. As you can see, I'm still lacking this little area. So once I do add longer drawer slides, this will be able to come out more. My plan here is to build a shelf that opens up this way, because whenever we're camping, we do need more counter space. Here is the other slide. This was a trash slide that goes under your cabinets. I had it laying around. I might as well just use this, so I used it here. And this is a toolbox that I bought at Walmart for 17 bucks that I modified to store all our knives, forks, etc. Just remember, when you're building something like this, you don't have to go all out and spend all this crazy money. As you can see here, this isn't the prettiest. The lines are kind of crooked. This is leftover material from the wall out here that I just put to good use, and that's cost me in total 20 bucks to do, and it serves the purpose. I got the handle, it was from up here, and I put it down here just so you can see how it is. It's a little flimsy. I did buy heavier duty drawer slides for this that I'm gonna upgrade later, but yeah, that's working out perfectly fine. I love this little kitchen, and it does the job perfectly fine. Here's the final, that way you guys can see what it looks like open in the daylight. But yeah, guys, remember, you don't really have to spend so much money to get the best quality things. You could get by with a little bit more budget friendly items like I have here. Eventually, I do want to upgrade certain components, like I said, the refrigerator and etc. But all right, that is the kitchen area. One more thing I forgot about the kitchen: there is no sink. What I use for a sink is this guy here. It's a Walmart foldable sink. I didn't want to have to ruin one of these and just dedicate it to an actual sink, so I just decided to go this route. That way, if I need to, I can place it here, place it on the fender, etc., etc. Wherever I want it, I could have it. It doesn't have to have its designated spot. Alrighty, now we're going to go through the sides of the camper. One mistake I made here was that I built and welded these fenders on before I did the side compartments. Because I did that, since the frame is not that square, I did end up with a little gap there, and this box isn't as far out as I wanted it to be, but that is an easy fix. I could just cut the fenders off, redesign this little box area, and do it all over again. As you can tell here, there really is no trim work here because it doesn't really line up. So what I use in this compartment here, this is basically flat bar, and this right here is angle iron, because like I said, the camper body stuck out a little bit more past the frame, so I had to give me some room to work with and something to weld onto. So that's why I added this here, and it goes all the way along to the front of the frame. But anyways, this is a piece of aluminum. This is a boat deck latch that just opens. So it opens like this, and this is a very shallow compartment that I just put a bunch of junk in there, and this compartment attaches to that. It's just one long area, and because the fenders were already here, I could not get a full sheet in, so I had to cut it in half, and this is just like a little gap, little thing to fill the gap here. This is angle iron. Since I had nothing to screw onto, I had to use that so I could screw from there to the sheets of aluminum. But that is the side there. This is the way it looks on both sides. In the other video, I was gonna scrap that light idea and put them there, but I think I'm gonna just keep them there and add extra lights somewhere here or down there. I'm not sure yet, but I do eventually want to rebuild this little compartment because the lines aren't really pretty, and I just want it to look a little bit nicer than it does right now, actually. But yeah, that is the side. I did shoot another video of the inside before it was full of stuff. I'm gonna include it here, that way you guys could see it. All right, so this is the inside of the camper here. So first things first, this is just a bed platform. This is a piece of wood. This is the only wood that's in this camper, is the bed frame, and then these side rails that I had to just use something to cover up here. That is literally the only wood that's in this camper. Everything else is steel or aluminum or plastic. Oh, one more thing, just that little trim, I needed something to attach the wiring to. But anyways, here we put a memory foam mat. It's around 6 to 8 inches if I remember correctly. It's the RV mat we had, the RV mattress. We use that in here. I did cut it up, and then we just stack it when we go. These stack on top of each other. We stack the mattress here, and this is all our bedding that goes right here. Here, as you could tell, this is all wallpaper. This is commercial grade wallpaper from hotels. My dad had a bunch of it laying around, and he had the glue, so I just used it. All this is still glue that I have yet to clean off. I've just been in a hurry just to use this guy. I don't really have a chance to do it. The only electrical in here is that USB port, and then this USB port. That's all I've put in so far. These curtains are blackout curtains that we got at Walmart. I just cut one of them in half. As you can tell, it's kind of ugly down there. And then I just put a big long curtain rod and that covers it. We just used these on the last camping trip because what we were doing was just getting pieces of this and taping it on the windows, and that wasn't really working out. The only lights we got in here are those little lights. Those are that's a, I forgot what it's called. It's a LED strip. It's just a monster LED strip that we power, and it has a remote there, and then we could dim it and do whatever we want and change the colors and all that stuff. But this is basically how we sleep. We have a lot of headroom, honestly. It hasn't really been an issue. The only issue we have is getting in and out of it, because it's kind of tight here, and you could misstep at night, especially after you had a couple of drinks. Scrap that. This is the door. That was a used door I got off eBay a while back ago. It cost me around, I think it was like $280 with shipping. And this is the awning that I have. This is the Napa awning. It cost me $100. It's a really good awning. So far, so good, no issues. Here is my roof rack. This is just basically flat bar and square stock steel. There is no cross members. Let's go up there and check. See, there's really no cross members yet because I don't really know what's that up here yet. And this is still a work in progress, so I will be adding some later. As you can tell, I did not paint the roof the same color because I ran out of the paint. I still have to buy more paint and paint the roof and paint the front end cap there because I ran out. And I'm gonna do that whenever I fix little issues here and there, because I do have to touch up some of the paint. As you can see there, some of the paint needs to be touched up. But yeah, I'll take you guys around. Here's the back of the camper. It looks kind of plain because there's really not much going on here. What I do want to do eventually is build a spare tire carrier. That way it adds more to the back. And these were the compartment doors that I did not paint with this. This is just an air vent. Basically, whenever we get to camp, we open that. That way there's more airflow. This is where I put the AC. I will insert a video of it here. Alrighty, so this is my AC setup. The good thing is when I was building this camper, we already had this window unit mounted in our room. And I measured it and it fit perfectly in there, because I really didn't know what other way to do it. I was originally thinking of mounting an AC up there, but then I would have lost a bunch of room up there and it just would not have worked. So anyways, this is pretty low tech, honestly. This power cord, when I do put it in right, goes out the back, and the AC just basically fits perfectly in this window hole. This window hole comes down. I do have chains that I attach from here, from that point to here, to hold the weight of the AC, but I mean, it's not really heavy, so I don't really need them. And this this door is very beefy, so it takes the weight of the AC, no problem. But yeah, we've had this AC on every time we've gone camping so far, and it's basically froze us out. We have to turn it off or set it to a very low setting, but it works. That's how it looks closed. It looks a little low tech, but it works. And sometimes I've even put a piece of duct tape there. I have yet to come up with like a nice looking solution, but this is working, and it's not a lot of extra weight to carry. Whenever we do take this AC, I just take this and stick it all the way back there, and it's just out of the way of everything. But yeah, that is it with the AC, this door. And then this is just some regular, this was already with the camper. I don't know what to do here yet. My plan is to buy one of those little Chinese diesel heaters, the portable ones, and then run the inlet and the outlet of the air in these little holes, and that would work perfectly for what I want to do. Come back around this side. It's all identical to the other side, the same compartment, same fenders. I do want to fix these gaps on both sides, make them look a little bit better. And then back here, it's just plain wall. There's nothing really going on. Eventually I want to upgrade these windows to something a little different, but windows are pretty expensive, so I'm kind of just getting by with those right now. I do want to add a hot water instant shower back here. I already have the instant water heater. I just need to build some sort of enclosure for it and build like a privacy tent. So back here, I'll come out. These are the stickers of places we've been and stuff we use. This is where I plug in the shore power. It's just a regular cord, nothing too fancy there. Here is the top. This is just a bunch of junk. These are the wires coming out of the cabin here. I still gotta put them in their cable hides. This is just junk we use whenever we go camping. Sorry, it's messy. That's the first compartment. I do want to finish insulating this because when we were at that trip, this gets pretty cold because there's really no insulation. So I need to add a layer of insulation up here and to these walls. That way this compartment gets a little bit more temperature control, because whatever cold air is in here kind of flows inside the cabin, and we kind of feel it a little bit at night, not too bad. Here's the other compartment. This is the main compartment. These were the gas cans. They're empty now, but that's where I had the gas for my generator when we went. These are where I store all these. There's 2 of these. I put all our big dishes and pots and pans in there. This is our trash cans, and then here's the battery. Sorry, it's kind of hidden back there. It's not really ugly. I mean, it's really ugly back here. I really haven't touched it up yet. I do have to wire this a lot nicer than it is right now. And I need to put this battery in a box and attach it all down so it won't move. But like I said, I've just kind of built it, and I just started using it and kind of just left all the little details kind of unfinished. But yeah, that's basically it with this camper here. Give you guys a walk around. Like I said earlier, I do want to build a front little compartment here for a refrigerator slide, because I do want to utilize the space in here for like more pantry space. That way we can put our big dishes. This door here, I forgot to mention, I bought it here locally. I had to cut it down because it was too big and I really couldn't find a correct size door for this. But I mean, it's working out so far, so I'm gonna leave it as that. But back to this, once I build a little compartment here, I'm gonna have a little shelf up here so I could carry firewood or something, because sometimes we have to take firewood and we really have nowhere to put it since it gets pretty cramped in there. Also, one more thing here in the kitchen. This hose is getting kind of annoying, so I need to find out a way to route it somewhere to a stationary propane tank. I might buy one and attach it to this wall, or I might buy one and attach it somewhere to one of the fenders. That way it's in place and it doesn't move. But let me take you guys around here. Alrighty, I'm gonna show you guys how I packed this camper in here while we go camping. Here's still the door, still original, really nothing but this little latch that I added. Basically, this is the wood. The only wood that's in this camper is this bed frame and these rails. Those are the bed that we sleep on. That back there is a table for my big griddle, one of the ice chests, a chair, pillows. This is a smaller griddle that I have, another table, water jugs. They're all 3 in there, and then there's 2 propane bottles back there, and then there's 2 little buddy heaters, and back there is the griddle, and here's my generator. So it all fits in pretty nice back here, and I still have a little bit more room. The only kind of complaint that I have about this camper is that I am around 6 feet, and then the interior of this camper is just about 6 feet. So sometimes I really can't stretch in the morning, so I just have to kind of curl up and stretch kind of diagonal, and then that makes it a little bit more comfortable. It's not uncomfortable in here. It's just one little thing, you know, when you're in the morning, you just want to really stretch out, and you really can't in here. Well, at least I can't. My wife can, because she's just about 5 feet, so she has a lot of room in here. But yeah, that's the only thing I wish I could change about this camper. But there really is no way to do it, so I just make do. Like I said, I don't sleep uncomfortable. It's just a little bit of an inconvenience sometimes, but I can live with it with this camper. But yeah, guys, that is the inside of this camper. It's just dirty from all that glue that I used to glue the wallpaper. But yeah, guys, and these are the curtains that I need to sew them at the bottom, and I need to add some sort of different curtain rod, because the one we have here is really, really flimsy, and I don't like it at all. But yeah, guys, now I'm gonna show you guys the bottom of the frame. It's still unfinished. I still have to paint it and add some sort of anti-corrosion, but I'm not really too worried about it, since we do live in Arizona and there is not that much condensation or moisture that causes a lot of rust here. once in a while we get days like today where it kind of rains. But anyways, the final figure off the top of my head, I would value this camper, not value it, what I've actually spent on it. I say around $4,500 to around $5,000 I have invested in this thing. That's just off the top of my head. It might be a little bit more, a little bit less, but as you can compare it to whatever camper that's out in the market that's basically wood, you're starting off at around $5,000 and going up. Something like this that's all aluminum or all metal and really no wood, it shoots up a lot. So by knowing how to do this, I kind of save myself a lot of money. But yeah guys, here is the video. If you guys have any questions on something or something that I missed, please let me know and I'll answer any questions you guys. Thank you guys. I'll answer any questions you guys have. Thank you guys for watching these videos and subscribing to my channel. Please keep liking and subscribing. Thank you.